Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl Cohen. I'm the president of Arthritis Consumer Experts, and I am so happy to be here on this very special episode of Arthritis at Home on Wellness Wednesday with someone who's super dear to my heart. I've known her now several years, and she's just, I feel like she's my sister from another mother for sure. I'm speaking about Tiffany Westrich-Robertson, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the International Foundation for Autoimmune and AUTOinflammatory Arthritis, or affectionately known as AiArthritis. And we're here to talk about World Autoimmune Arthritis Day. Tell us about your organization. If people haven't heard of it, give them some sense of the who, what, why, where, and how. And then also introduce them, if again they don't know about this special day that you've created in our annual calendar of days to celebrate, so that people know about it, and describe what's going to take place tomorrow and tell them how they can get involved.
So first of all, and I am a person living with these diseases. Originally was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and then it evolved into a non-radiographic axial spondyloarthritis over the last couple of years, and mix of this and that, which a lot of us do. So I am also one of the co-founders of our organization, and AiArthritis, as you said, for short. Excuse me. We were established in 2011. Based on my diagnosis and then me speaking with patients from all over the world, because it was 2009 when social media came about, right? And so we started speaking with each other and realizing, wow, if you listen to what patients have to say, we sure can identify some missing gaps in these problems that we have. And it was sort of this aha moment that we need to, number one, focus on patient voices being at the table, quote unquote. Well, then we also realized that it didn't matter which of the autoimmune or the autoinflammatory arthritis diseases, both being from both sides of the immune system, it didn't matter which one people had. It was that arthritic component that also combined those. We were having similar symptoms, similar stories, similar treatments. So this journey that we were all on together was very similar. And so we have these 100+ autoimmune, autoinflammatory diseases, but when you narrow it down to the ones that present early with arthritis, you've gone down to just a couple dozen. You have a handful. So we decided maybe there needs to be an organization that focuses on patients being at the table to help problem solve, and we only focus on this cluster of diseases, and then by narrowing the focus, we increase the impact. So the mission has, and then also myself and the other co-founders using our backgrounds in business and as educators, so our professional backgrounds, bringing it in. So it wasn't so much patient advocates starting an organization as it was professionals who want to toggle their experiences included, right?
Yeah, Tiff, I'll interject. It's so amazing. Us here in Canada, you down there in the States are, as you know, at Arthritis Consumer Experts, sort of a bit of a similar story. But I just want to touch on your point that often gets overlooked. You and I show up at meetings, and there's government decision makers, policy makers, academic leaders, researchers, clinicians, industry. And often they think of us in a singular way, and that's as a patient. Yeah. And they don't realize we had these amazing full lives before this disease knocked on our door. And actually, we've got massive skill sets to bring to bear. You and I, obviously, as communicators, as educators, but we have people who actually have decided, well, I'm going to go on and become a rheumatologist because I have the disease, and I think I can do something really meaningful for both physicians and patients. Yes. So, thank you for reminding me of that we're more than just our group of symptoms. We're people. Yes. With this amazing power and these amazing voices that can make change.
Absolutely. And so we decided that our mission is literally to help others like ourselves living with these AI arthritis diseases to have a voice as equals at the table alongside other stakeholders. That's very key in our mission. So alongside these other stakeholders, so we can communicate together to solve problems that impact education or awareness, advocacy or public policy and research. That's what we sort of fine-tuned it into. And so that's the who, and we are international, and that's how we met because of our international scope. And the how is really, everything is based on communication, everything. Because my background, so let's go into these kind of professional backgrounds. I was a vice president at an architectural firm in my pre-diagnosis days, and I was doing business development and project management. I was also a college educator. So my expertise has always been connecting the dots and problem solving. So when we started figuring this out, we thought, well, how do you solve problems? And I said, well, you do it through conversation, and all people must be at the table. That's just, it has to be. And so we've always been fighting, it seems to say, the patient voice needs to be there. We're saying all people need to be there. So we identify problems within our community by speaking with each other, much like how we were founded, identifying those what's missing, what still needs to be addressed. Then we go out to the community, what we call our global network. That could be you, Cheryl, your organization. We work with a lot of other nonprofits, but also it could be doctors, nurses, anyone who is a stakeholder in our circle that would need to be at the table to give their opinion so we can develop a robust solution that all parties can take hold of and run with. Because if we only did it for ourselves, not everyone might jump on board.
Yeah, what's the point, right? Yeah, totally. I just, it's really interesting, this whole concept of equality obviously goes beyond equality, and it goes to equity, and they are quite different. And I just love that the AIA has that's an underpinning. It always has been. And as you say, as a communicator, you understand how to get that message across, not just to your fellow person with arthritis or autoimmune disease, but to people who don't have it as well. I find it easy to talk to people like you and my fellow person living with some autoimmune condition or disease. But sometimes the translation, something gets lost in the translation when you cross discipline.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that you guys have done so very, very well. And we just want to congratulate you on the tremendous growth that you've had. And, we see you as, again, your whole organization, we see you as a sister from another.
I know. We just had our 9th birthday.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm going to turn our conversation to something that you have created, your organization has created, and been so much fun to be a part of. I speak as one of your participants now. I want you to talk to us, though, about how you've morphed it, how it started, and how you've morphed it this year into the Auto Ball. Which people, if you wonder why she's sitting on a racetrack and has a black and white checkered flag around her neck, Tiffany's going to tell you right now.
Okay, so when we were established as an organization, it was 2011 when we finally, all the paperwork came through, and we started kind of as a movement in 2009. And what we realized, there was a World Arthritis Day, there still is, October 12th, and it's hosted by our friends at EULAR, European League Against Rheumatism, and they contacted us, and and said, we host World Arthritis Day, and we've noticed in the States, where we are headquartered in the United States, that the participation is typically osteoarthritis, and we really want to hit more. We want to see more people participating with a different type of arthritis, with an autoimmune disease or an autoinflammatory disease, it not only one type. And so we said, well, that's interesting, because as an organization, the first task that we wanted to do was establish our own day. So it was really funny the way that that conversation happened. And we said, well, we're going to establish it for May 20th. And they agreed to sign on to support ours. And then we said, kind of at the end of ours, we would then start being a champion for theirs. And so from the get-go, it was never a competition. It was always an embracing of the global need to bring more attention to these diseases. So we established it in for the first time in 2012, and nobody knew who we were. And so Tammy Caskey Brown, who's one of our co-founders, she was really passionate about this. And she said, I'm going to try to start recruiting nonprofits, because it can't just be us. It's like World Arthritis Day. It needs to be a global situation where we all come together. And so she started, and I think this is how our organizations met. We were at the American College of Rheumatology, and we started going around to booths and sort of introducing ourselves and telling people about this day and what we had envisioned for it. Now, the vision has changed, as you said. When we first started, it was more a vision of global network of sharing of resources, because we had realized, A, we needed awareness for our specific cluster of diseases, because the arthritis component was different, but we also believe that as part of our mission, by narrowing the focus, then if a doctor says an classic auto symptom plus classic arthritis, or plus arthritis, wow, you might have one of these diseases, rather than 100 possibilities or 100. But in contrast to that, it also helps the other non-arthritic autoimmune or auto disease, because if it doesn't have the arthritis, it might be them, right? So it was dual. The other thing we realized, though, was as the internet takes off and we're finding your organization and others have these great resources, but I don't live in Canada. So how would I know that they're there? And that was a real aha moment. And we thought, in addition to awareness, why don't we ask these organizations to supply maybe their top 6 resources, and we can share them. And at the time, they were like little tracks where it was awareness and education and research. And we started feeding those out, so that if there's something that ACE is doing, or Joint Health, and somebody in Australia would benefit from it, then they should know that the resource is there. And a good example, there was just a lot that was on, like exercises and mental health, that from all over the world. And it doesn't matter where you live. It's wonderful educational, wonderful materials to help with your disease journey. And so that's how it started. It was actually a conference, online conference. And we did that for a couple of years, but like most things, people get bored. And so you have to change it up. And
I think that's just one of the things you guys do really well, is you do recognize that, change is a good thing, innovating. And let's face it, Tiff, there's a measure of entertainment to this. And
yes.
Why shouldn't people with arthritis be entertained, for goodness sakes, right?
Right. And that was the other part of it. We said, what can we do to breathe life into this? I mean, because the other thing is, as a nonprofit, as an organization, you might not have that many new resources year to year, because you're building on one project, let's say. So that was an obstacle that we recognized as well. And so we thought, why don't we play on the word auto? It's right there in our names. And so the whole world auto, and so when we say it, we literally say autoimmune, autoinflammatory. So we really stress the auto, and we gave all of the teams. So then we said race teams, and everybody's kind of a team together. And we made little graphic race cars for everybody. And so you all had your logo with your race car. and we would have everybody post and still share resources, share things about the organization. But what we added was this component where everyone would get a point for a like or a share. And it was pretty easy to be able to count that. I mean, because we have a hashtag, you scan the hashtag and you can see how much people are posting. And then we had some special like bonus points if somebody really got creative and went over and beyond, hosted a talk show, for example. So, that gives you
certain to win then this year.
You get extra points and playing on the term and comparing our bodies in our diseases to automobiles, all of that sort of evolved. And that's where we've taken it until this year, because COVID, we had to change it up again, just slightly, because our organizations, we've all had to really divert and make sure that we're connecting with the right resources for our community with COVID. And there's been a kind of a stress on some manpower. And we've heard back from organizations saying it's going to be really hard for us to participate this year. And we're just being honest. And so, my response was, COVID's taking enough from us. Let's not take an awareness day away. Let's make it as easy as possible and fun to participate, and it'll be up to everybody to just have fun and raise awareness. So this year, instead of having the race, because what we used to do too is we would send trophies and things like that years ago, and big racing trophies. And we said, let's just make it about the awareness, about sharing of resources, trying to scale it back to the core, and excuse me, and then post with comparisons to automobiles. And this year, you're the first, hot off the press, you're the first one to hear, because tomorrow what we'll do is we're going to be posting photos of like tires, for example, and having people get creative and say, what does this mean? And we've already had volunteers saying like, spinning your wheels, or, your tread runs out. And so those kind of things, it'll be something that we're going to put it back to the community this year and try to have more fun with the people living with these diseases, so that they can almost come up with creative campaigns of their own that we all can build on.
Yeah,
and so,
I love that whole idea, Tiff, because we are each voice, in my view, is the voice, right? It's not your voice, it's not the other it's my voice. And if we can get people to understand through, I know what are for many of us, and yourself and myself from time to time, really horrific challenges with our diseases, or the complications brought on by our diseases. But to offer people a way through fun activities like this and empowering activities like this, just good on you, girl, because this is really, I think, it's the way we can, in one way, in the times we're living in right now, be active, and be active in a safe way, which is great. And tell us about your honorary chair.
Angela Durazo, yes, and she will actually she will be live tomorrow on our organization's Facebook page. So I'll share that later. But Angela Durazo is a race car driver, and she also lives with rheumatoid arthritis, and she's an actress as well. I had been following her because she does some public speaking, and she's a race car driver. How cool is that, right? And her story is really interesting because, she had onset younger adult, and the rheumatoid arthritis really affected her joints, and she's had to have some surgeries, and she was a triathlete at the time. And it changed her whole who am I now that many of us deal with, right? What do I do? I was this, now who am I? And she, like many of us, went through that struggle of trying to refine, search out and find again her passion and her love. And she found it through auto racing. And I'm going to talk to her more about that when we have a conversation tomorrow. But she decided that, this would be something that she could still physically do and have that energy. And I think that's what's important to take away from the story with her, is that just because we might be limited in something we loved, we can take those elements of the thing we loved about it, the energy, the competition, all of those things that made her who she was as a person, she was able to toggle it into something else.
It's
And
amazing.
I just think that's really powerful.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to hear you guys chat tomorrow. And I know we're going to be posting a slide at the end of this video that offers the links to those things. What else would you like people to do to get involved with the Auto Ball, Tiff?
I just think first of all, we're on primarily Facebook and Twitter. I'm going to admit we set up an Instagram account, but I'm being honest. We need the young people within our organization to run it. I'm being completely honest, and I'm hoping that I can give them the right information to do that tomorrow, because the rest of us will be doing the Facebook and the Twitter. They're all the same. It's at AiArthritis Day. So it's very simple to be able to find those. So we'll be making, and when I say we, our organization hosts it, but it is not our event, and it is everyone's event. And so the posts that you see on AiArthritis Day are not going to say by the International Foundation. None of the posters even say that. They all are the posters that we have made that people can share, or any of the posts that we're going to put on that page are for everybody. And so we encourage you to follow those pages, make your own posts. So earlier in the day, we're going to start talking about if you are an automobile, like think of all of the parts, your engine, right? I'm gonna make like little, I'll show you. I have like little fuel.
Oh. You're the best.
So we have to keep our energy up, right? So because we have the fatigue, and so things that would creatively help other people understand what we live with, that these are full body diseases. Let's just have fun with it and use the hashtag AiArthritis Day. And we'll be able to search that. And if we see some cool things you're doing, then we can share them on the social media page. I just think it's the perfect opportunity. We're all most of us are inside. Let's just be creative. I have my little costume here. I even have I've got my sunglasses.
Oh, wow.
Ready to go. I'm ready. I don't have them out here. I have all kinds of things. You just gotta tune in.
You don't look like a race car driver. You look like a movie star with those.
I have props, but I don't have them out here on this table, but I have props. So I just think it's have fun. And even if that is, creating fun food like pretzels with chocolate, like dipstick, oil dipsticks, like just be creative with it, especially if you have kids at home. Make some creative food and post it just because that kind of stuff catches people's attention. And that's what we want to do. If we just put regular posts out there about some facts, those are fine. But if we're trying to grab the attention of people who usually overlook us, let's really grab their attention.
I'm with you. I like that. Go big or go home. So listen, just the best of luck as you round the final turn, approaching the finish line tomorrow. It is an incredible event. Everyone at AIA are incredible. I just love all of you. I think I've had good fortune to meet most of you who are actually the worker bees in the background of the organization. And I just have huge respect for you. We all do at ACE, and we wish you the very best of luck. And we can't wait to watch tomorrow's programming, but also to get our thumbs busy. What's your Twitter handle again?
It's all of the World AiArthritis days are all AiArthritis Day.
Okay.
Our organization is IF AiArthritis, and that's the same on any of our
Okay.
social.
And if you just search for the hashtag, you'll see all the activity.
Oh yeah, if you do hashtag AiArthritis Day, you should be able to start seeing them. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Tiffany Westrich-Robertson, Chief Executive Officer of AiArthritis. Thank you so much for joining us, and just massive luck tomorrow. Love you lots.
Love you too. Thank you for having me.
Okay, be safe, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.